Welcome to video number 10. This video is all about STEP papers, which is 6-term extension papers. They're really hard maths papers that are designed to kind of find the very best mathematicians. It's kind of separating the A stars from the really good A stars, and some universities use it to decide who's going to be a suitable candidate to study maths at their university. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you a step question, so you get an idea about how long and how difficult these things actually are. The video itself, I'll hold my hands up. It was my third attempt to that question. The first question, I took an angle wrong, and it meant all my coefficients at the end. It turned out pretty rough. I then slept on the question and realised I took the angle wrong, redid it, and then I made a sign error in the algebra quite late on in the question. I spotted that, and normally I'll go back and just change it as you would in an exam, but obviously I was recording it so I could put it on these videos, and so I redid it again. So on my third attempt, this question still took me 20 minutes. When it actually comes down to a step paper, you will only have 20 minutes a question, so it's quite time pressured. There's a lot of pressure on your maths. You need to know a lot of content for some of the papers. So there's 3 different step papers. Step 3 relies on a lot of further maths, even some that you might not come across in a further maths A level. So there's a lot that you need to know to be able to do these. And I think that's the biggest problem, because when students ask me, so what is STEP about? And I go, well, look at a question, and students think, oh, it's really complicated. There's lots of stuff I don't know, and that's why it's difficult. But that isn't the case. It's difficult because, well, not because it uses stuff you don't know, but because it puts things you do know together in a completely different way to what you would have seen in your normal A level. So just because you can do a C2 exam and get 95% or do exceptionally well there, doesn't mean that you can pick up a step paper and do as well. So here's the video. So if you thought that question was difficult, that's because it was difficult. It was a difficult question, as are essentially all step papers. What I would say is that was from a step 3 paper. Step 1 has more restriction because of a reduced content that it can ask you to work from. So it's not always as difficult as that, but there are things out there that can help you prepare for STEP, and there's certainly things that are in between A level and STEP, and you can start preparing for STEP as soon as you start your A level potentially. So there's things to look up, such as MAT, which are set by Oxford University, and they're similar to STEP in the types of questions they ask, but they'll only ask you content from the units you'd study as part of AS Maths on most exam boards. And there's also Advanced Extension Award papers. Now these are based on the normal A-level maths specifications, so they don't require you to take further maths to be able to do them, and they are questions that are extended, questions that are potentially awkward, but they have a little bit more structure to them. Quite often they're broken down into parts, so it gives you a bit of an indication of where to go, which often isn't the case with STEP. So today, I was struggling. Obviously, to set you a challenge, I could have just held up a step question again and said, "Here, have a go at that." But that wouldn't be fair. So I've got another challenge, and start thinking about different functions, and to get you to play around a little bit with maths. My challenge is based on something that quite often I would do with young mathematicians, maybe at secondary school, and I asked them to try and find a way to get all the numbers from 1 to 10 using their calculator, but without using any number other than 4. So, for example, they might do, to get a number 3, they might do 4, take away, and then in brackets 4 divided by 4, and they get that. So rules, only allowed to use 4 maximum of 4 times. And obviously we're just not going to go for the numbers from 1 to 10, that would be too easy. I'm pretty confident that you can get from the numbers 1 up to 44 with this method. So, can you find a way of getting all the numbers separately from 1 to 44, each time using different functions on your scientific calculator, but only using the number 4 and using it a maximum of 4 times? There is a little thing I want to point out. So you are allowed to use things like 10 to the power 4, so something like that is fine. Got no problem with that. I'm not sure how that would be useful. Maybe you will find a use for it. And you can use 4 cubed. A bit more useful, that one. But what I don't want you guys to use is anything sneaky, like if you press, for example, the X cube button and then press delete, you end up with the number 3. That's a very naughty way of getting the number 3. So anything like that, not cool. Also, don't use the random button. That's also not allowed. But anything else, any other function you find on your calculator and you want to use that, then go for it. So see how far you can get. Answers in the comments. I expect this one might take a little bit of time.